Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday night music show brought to you by DJ Event Planner, along with some other sponsors you can learn all about down in the description of this video on YouTube. Now, I want to go ahead and say hello to everybody who's joining us tonight. We have Sean Big Daddy McGee joining us, ex-pro wrestler, ex-porn star. He's here. And
you got confidence, Pally, and I love
you for being here. We're going to learn all about his time in adult films and also maybe talk about some music with him. We also have Mr. Howie Darkstar, our producer. We have Eric from New Hampshire. We have Jay from Swingin' Temecula, Matt from Georgia, and of course we have Mr. Boston John here with Boston John's Record Roundup. But before we get into that, later on in the show, there are a couple things I'd like to talk about. One thing is this cool new insurance that I got for DJs.
Yeah.
It can be a little tough sometimes to get liability insurance. You don't know how to do it, who to go through, all that kind of stuff. I've got an option for you. And many of you out there may already be using this service, but I'm using it. It's affordable. And you don't have to join any associations or anything or advertise with anybody to get a group rate with it. And then seeing how this show won't be broadcast until probably, I don't know, with my grandkids in high school, maybe. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my wedding planner that was fired from my event that's coming up really soon.
All right.
Which will be long past before this airs. Yeah.
You're smiling while you're saying that, too.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not smiling because I'm happy that she got fired. I'm smiling because it's just kind of funny that it happened. But anyway, so let's get on to Boston John's Record Roundup. What do you got for us this week, John?
I picked. I couldn't recall if we've ever discussed these two. I don't think we've had anything because when I got the greatest hits, it was already on CD and I never bought it on vinyl. So just to keep things vinyl, I pulled up the last vinyl that I remember buying from them, which was Hall & Oates Adult Education backed with Maneater on a 12-inch single.
Nice.
Hall & Oates were hit machines through late 70s, probably into just about 1990. They had 29 of their 33 singles hit the Hot 100, including 6 number ones. If you don't have Hall & Oates in your collection, you should definitely look into their greatest hits record. You'll have Private Eyes, I Can't Go For That, Sarah Smiles, She's Gone.
You Make My Dreams Come True.
Make My Dreams was there, yep. Just cranking out the hits. It's really works for any type of audience. Everyone would know their music. So if you don't have Hall & Oates in your collection, grab yourself the greatest hits, do yourself a service. So many number ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't go for that. No can do. No.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my pick of the week. And as I say, I got the greatest hits, but it was on a CD and I don't know where that went. So we'll just to make sure that
Rock and Soul Volume 1.
Yep.
We never saw Rock and Soul Volume 2. And Rock and Soul Volume 1 had 2 brand new songs on it. One was Saying It Isn't So, which is one of my favorite Hall & Oates songs. And the other one was called Adult Education. Those were the 2.
Oh,
yeah, that's the record. So
yeah. I'm sorry. I was texting a client who I told them I was doing a broadcast right now, who just continues to text me. I apologize for that.
That's all good.
Yeah, Hall & Oates awesome. Yeah, blue-eyed soul stuff. And as DJs, I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of traction with You Make My Dreams Come True from the Gen Z, Gen X crowd. I don't know, it was in a movie or something, and they like it. But the one that I like to play and almost get a better response from a wider audience is Rich Girl. That one does really well. And what's cool about Rich Girl is like 2 minutes and 22 seconds long. So when I'm working in the shop and I need to paint something, I play that song in my head and shake the paint can, and the paint's good and shaken by the time the song's
that's a 2.5 minute shake. Yeah,
my paint shaking song. Yeah,
that's all right. Easy to cook a 3-minute egg. Yeah,
it's so bad that every time the song comes on the Yacht Rock station when we're in the shop, my mom, my daughter, whatever, they'll just start doing this, just shaking their hands because they know that that's the paint shaking song.
Or was that part of one of Sean's movies? Or no, forget it.
Well, okay, Eric, would you like to go next? Do you have something for us?
I would love to. one of the most successful albums of 1975, sold over 4 million copies. Again, I'm going with the greatest hits, and I always think that's cheating, but I don't think it is.
Nah, it's okay.
Cat Stevens' greatest hits.
Nice.
Mm.
A lot of nice stuff on there. Peace Train, Moon Shadow, Another Saturday Night, Oh Very Young, and Wild World, Father and Son. A whole bunch of good stuff on that album. But that's what I'm going with this week. So
He disappeared for a long time because of religious reasons. He converted to Islam.
Yeah.
And we didn't hear anything from him for a long time, but he turned up when they brought him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he stood up, he said a few words, and then he performed. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
He did Peace Train and Wild World, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was better than I'd ever heard it before. It was absolutely incredible. I was so impressed. And this was just like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. And I was surprised myself because usually as you get older, your voice, you kind of lose it.
Yeah.
He nailed it. He nailed Peace Train for sure.
He nailed it all. He took very good care of himself. And he stole the show. Absolutely stole the show. It was really, really good. If you haven't checked that out, go on YouTube and check out Cat Stevens Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even a Cat Stevens fan. And I'm like,
Right.
that's really good.
yeah.
Let's see. Howie, how about you? Let's get.
Oh, okay. 1975 again. And, coming from what I used to do in New York City, there was a lady called Patti Smith.
Mhm.
And she was a poet.
Yeah.
And she hung around that cafe I helped build,
New Eureka Cafe?
the Neo-Rican Poets Cafe, and she was there every night. She'd go do a few poems, but she also did a few at Max's Kansas City in between when they were moving stuff, setting for the next band, and she did CBGBs too, and she met from the Velvet Underground John Cale, and he said you should actually make an album of you're really good with your cadence, and so I picked the greatest hits from '75, and it has Because the Night.
What year did that song come out, Howie?
1975.
It did. Okay, I thought it
Yeah.
was later than that.
Yeah. And what do I have here? She had Horses, of course. And my favorite from her, Gloria. Her interpretation of Gloria is just out of this world. So that's my pick.
If I remember right, she's the one who did the last set at CBGB's.
Yes, she was one of the ones that played for the last set at CBGB's.
Yeah.
And then after that, she disappeared for like 30 years, 40 years, because she walked away to raise her kids and be a housewife. And then she came back, I think it was a year or two ago, or may have even been before COVID, and she came back with a new album. But I saw a few interviews. Where you been? Been raising my kids. That's all she said. Raising my kids. And that's admirable, But
Right
she's known as the godmother of punk.
And Because the Night is the furthest thing in the world from punk. It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. I love it.
Beautiful song.
It's
Yeah.
produced well. It's written well.
Yeah.
It's
You guys know who
amazing
wrote
track.
it, right?
Pardon?
Well,
You guys know who wrote it?
I don't remember. It's probably Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
yeah, Bruce Springsteen.
It was a good
But
guess, huh?
John Cale did the, producing for her. And, well, we all know his lineage. So,
You know who she was married to, right?
no.
Fred Sonic Smith, the original guitar player from the MC5.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, he died a few years ago, but they were married like the whole time. Like
Yeah.
they didn't get married, divorced or anything. So when she took off to raise the family, it was with Fred Sonic Smith, who was with Wayne Kramer, the other guitar player from the MC5 from Detroit.
Wow.
So again, another lineage to the punk scene. And Patti Smith opened for Bruce Springsteen at the Harvard Square Cinema the night that John Landau from Rolling Stone said, "I've seen the future of rock and roll and its name is Bruce Springsteen."
Yeah.
And then John Landau quit Rolling Stone and became Bruce's manager, and he still is today.
Okay, now you get to go, Jay.
Okay. I'm going back to 1959 because I don't think we ever talk about jazz or instrumental. And every time I play one of these 5 tracks that's on the album, there's only 5 tracks.
I'm gonna use my ESP here and see where you're going.
I always get compliments, and I get compliments like,
Or is
I
this
just
shirt?
told my daughter this is real jazz. That's the comment I hear a lot.
Yeah,
I just told my wife this is real jazz.
and it is.
So
it is.
I have a
we are
guess.
looking at Mr. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, man. Yep.
Well, I mean, if you don't have So What, here's the 2 things. A, it's an amazing song. And as a DJ for dinner music, it's also 9 minutes and 5 seconds long.
Yeah, it's very
So
long.
you have time to hit the bathroom, walk
Keep the-
around, do what
Keep
you
the
want.
buffet going.
Yeah. Then you
Yeah.
go into All
Yeah.
Blues. All Blues is 11 minutes and 34 seconds long. And they don't sound that long when you play them. And I guarantee whatever event you're doing, unless it's like they're capping the room at 22 years old, you're going to have someone that comes up and makes a comment like, "I saw this guy in college. This is what I like to listen to. I haven't heard this played out." It never, ever, ever fails that people will respond to John Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, and Miles Davis. So if you don't have some of that locked in on your jazz collection, I really highly recommend you take a look at it. And this would be considered one of his 2 best albums besides Bitches Brew, which
What's
is
that?
very fusion.
What's the
Yeah.
Carnegie Hall awards thing they do with the presidents? What else it called?
Oh, the National
Yeah, archive.
the
National
Kennedy Center Honors.
Kennedy Center Honors. There you go.
There
Kennedy
you go.
Center Honors.
Kennedy Center Honors. They did one with Dave Chappelle, I don't know, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And when he got up and spoke, he was talking about something he was reading. It was an interview he was reading about Miles Davis. And someone asked Miles Davis, what, or I guess he said, it's really cool when you start playing like yourself. And they said, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Well, when you're learning how to play trumpet or anything else, you emulate everybody else, and you try these techniques and things, and you kind of sound like other people, but then eventually you kind of come into your own and you start to sound like yourself. You don't sound like you're emulating anybody anymore." And I thought that was heavy. I thought that was relevant for any art that you do.
And he was quiet. He was not a man of a lot of words.
Because he was on heroin all the time. Because is that
and he was an artist as well. His artwork is revered. And to your point, in the 5th grade, I asked Mr. O'Halloran, my band instructor, told him I saw Dizzy Gillespie play on PBS the night before, and he blew his cheeks up. And I said, "You always tell us we're not supposed to do that." And Mr. O'Halloran said to me, "Jay, when you're as good as Dizzy Gillespie, you can do whatever you want.
you do whatever you want to do?"
You're as good as Dizzy Gillespie, you don't blow your cheeks up. And it's that thing of you find your voice through your influences. I could play you a bunch of different bands and you could tell me, "Oh, these guys were really into the Ramones. These guys were really into Aerosmith. These guys were really into Metallica." Because you wear your influences on your sleeve, but you hit greatness when you find your own voice. And your voice is what you're known for. So it's a truism that I think goes back to the dawn of man, as far as your talent is when you are yourself at its core. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night, everybody. That was a good show.
Good TED Talk. Yeah.
Matt, do you have something for us this week?
I was about to say now it's going to have to
On
be
your
Matt,
phone?
Sean, everybody at once. Yes, I'm back to the phone after several weeks in a row of vinyl, and I have been playing at a Roughneck bar a lot lately, so I've been diving into some
Like a
outlaw
real
country.
Like real oil workers?
You can get. Oh well,
Isn't that what roughnecks are? Like oil
Yeah.
workers?
No, not quite that. But more redneck than
Redneck.
I guess I should say.
He was trying to be kind.
But some tough.
Yeah.
Some tough folk. So I've been trying to get a little bit more into the country /rock/rap, which lately has been defined, in my opinion, by one main guy named Jelly Roll.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was just randomly picking an album of his to choose from, and so I went with this 2023 release here, Whitset Chapel. So
how many does he have?
But pretty much anything in his catalog. He's been going pretty strong, putting out one, it seems like, every couple of years. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8.
He's got 8
might go
albums?
back further than It might go back further than that. And I mean, he's got some he does with what's referred to as Waylon and Willie 3. He's on those projects as well. I think he's got more than what I just said too. This guy's been at it for a while. So
good for him.
Even crossing over
now.
like him and Smo did a lot together. So just trying to find some unique flavor for that crowd, because they like the rock, country, and the hip hop there, and it's a good mixture of demographics that come to it. So so Jelly Roll just checks a lot of those boxes. So
Interesting.
Good choice.
It's like that out here. We call them white trash, but it's different.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it is here too.
I am now no longer allowed in North Carolina.
20 miles outside of any given city. Yeehaw! It's just what it is. No matter where you live, that's what it is.
Western.
Yeah.
This is
I want to keep my controller
my
in one
wife.
piece. So.
Yeah. John, we do this every week, and I don't want to throw you under the bus, but we do talk about a record that we feel like that our audience may want to check out, or maybe an artist or something. And if you don't have anything for us, that's okay. But if you do, I'd like to go ahead and give you this platform to tell everybody about something that's you think is cool.
Sean's a wealth of knowledge. This is going to be good.
Sean has this on you.
I'll tell you what, most of the stuff that I listen to when I work out is Metallica, all that stuff. In my car, I'm listening to a band called the Canadian Tenors. Great band, big grim, and I'm blessed to be friends with one of the old lead singer, who I'm going to be recording with in January. Most of my stuff now, because I know that Foreigner's on their last tour, I'm doing a few songs from Foreigner and Loverboy. They're out together.
Wow.
They're playing this weekend. Foreigner's last tour, and the guy that took Lou Graham's place, oh my heavens, this man don't cheat on any of the songs. I saw them live about 5-6 years ago with Journey and Night Ranger.
What a bill.
Wow.
Night Ranger, they lasted about 30 minutes on stage. Then Foreigner did about an hour, and they were wolf. But Foreigner, and a lot of the stuff now, most of my weddings and stuff, these kids are picking out whatever they want. And I'm getting a lot of more country-ish, rock-ish, Jelly Roll, Trace Atkins, some of the new stuff. But these kids want everything from, and Daryl Hall's got his own place over here. Daryl's, he's got a concert venue restaurant here about 15 minutes from me. Nice place. I played there before. They got some good bands in there, and Daryl Hall plays there every now and again. And but these kids are all over. Like this weekend, my wedding on Saturday is a lot of country, but more. I try to tell these kids, if they've heard it, they'll dance. If they haven't, they'll hesitate. Trying to stay as commercial as possible when it comes to that. But cocktail hours, I'm playing a little bit of everything and just pleasing enough to the ear so they're going, oh my God, I haven't heard that song in a while. Like it, and you want that kind of thing. And then I watch everything I do. Every song I play, I'm watching people's feet during dinner and stuff. I'm watching people's feet and I'm watching people's heads go like this. They're into the Daryl Hall, John Oates, great choice of greatest hits albums. Great album. And it's just all about how I'm feeling it. And then, of course, I'm blessed to be able to sing. So I'm singing stuff like You Are the Reason. I'm doing some Journey. I'm doing First Dances, Mother, Son, Father, Daughter, Simple Man, stuff like that. So I'm all over the map. And just getting people involved with the music I listen to mostly is I'm banging my head up against the dashboard, getting myself ready for my workouts and getting out of the car and actually walking on my feet.
Yeah.
Without falling again.
I think we ought to see what we can do about making Record Roundup last a little longer. That would be good. What do you think?
Cool.
Yeah.
We
should actually make it a separate show. We should just turn it over to John and just do a completely separate show with the Roundup, because the Roundup goes a while.
Yeah, it does.
We could make a whole show out of it. It could be a half hour, 45-minute show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're about 25 minutes in now. So
and
that's pretty good.
We'll spend 5 on mine. Well, if you want to burn time. But I'm going to talk about somebody this week that isn't cool to talk about. He's not exactly cool. I think he's cool. I think he's damn cool. And I got to admit that I probably only like, I don't know, maybe 10 a dozen of his tracks. He was born in India. And he's had 57 albums.
Oh, I think I know.
You know who it is?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, who is it?
Ravi.
Who?
Ravi Shankar.
Ravi Shankar.
No.
That's where I went.
That's
where I was going. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
Engelbert.
Was he born in India?
I don't know. Was he? He's probably got 57 albums.
So that's like
Mr. Cliff Richard? Mr. Cliff Richard.
He was born in India?
Okay.
Yes,
I
he
didn't know
was.
that.
He was born in India.
Well, Slash was born in England when he was 7. So, people move young.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Freddie
remember.
Mercury was born in Africa.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was born in India. Cliff is a weird one because, like, over in the UK,
he's a god.
he's like Elvis, right?
Yeah.
Here in America, not so much. But John Lennon credited this guy as having the first rock and roll song, the first UK rock and roll song in 1958. But, I remember when Cliff came on the radio for the first time with a song that I really liked, and it was Devil Woman in 1975.
I love that song.
Great song.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Right? Loved it. I'm like, what is this? And then the next time I heard anything from Cliff that I can remember was We Don't Talk Anymore. And that's an amazing track from
I
79.
remember that.
Yeah,
Oh, my
that's so
God.
funny.
Yeah.
And then after
Another
that,
great song.
which is this album right here, I'm No Hero, was Dreamin'. That was a really good song.
Mhm.
He also did a song called Carrie that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's one on here called A Little in Love that's really nice. There's a lot of tracks that are big in Europe. And in fact, or in the UK. In fact, this guy, I think he's had a number one single for like 5 decades straight. Like, I think.
And he looks the same.
Not anymore. That's not he's 80. Let's see. He's 83 now. He was born in 1940.
Okay. It seems like he was always the same look. They'd show him in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And I'm like, the guy hasn't aged. So I knew eventually that wall would get hit.
He hit the wall a while back. But yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of tracks. I mean, I like the stuff that hit in the States. I don't really care for anything that I've heard that he's done that hit over there and didn't hit anywhere else. But Cliff's an interesting one to check out. Do you guys remember the TV show The Young Ones? Anybody ever watch that one?
I remember the show.
Very counterculture BBC show.
Yeah.
One guy was a hippie. One guy was a punk rocker. One guy was kind of a new wave guy.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Rick. They call him Rick the Prick. Well, Rick was like this, like student activist kind of new wave looking guy. I don't know what you'd call him over in the UK at the time. This was like 83, 84. The show was out. And his favorite artist was Cliff Richard, which just was ironic. It just shouldn't have been Cliff Richard, but he was a Cliff Richard freak. And Cliff actually recorded a re-recorded a song called The Young Ones. that he'd recorded in the 50s, re-recorded it with the young ones, the cast, for like Comic Relief in 1987 or something like that. But anyway, I don't know. I think you should check out Cliff Richard. You know, not this album particularly. Dream is a great song. We Don't Talk Anymore is fantastic.
You got to play Devil Woman around Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween time. That's a standard.
Yeah. Any time is a good time for Devil Woman.
I agree, but especially if people are looking for, I got Munster Mash and Purple People Eater. What else do I play?
I read something incredibly interesting. I read something
here. Try this.
Interesting. In 1974, and I don't know what the song sounds like, but he was a rocker in the 50s and early 60s, and when the Beatles kind of took over, he went very Christian, and he started doing only Christian music and kind of denounced the rock and roll thing. And then he came back and wanted to do rock again, and he released a song called Honky Tonk Angel. And then he finds out that apparently, not that I knew anything about this, but Honky Tonk Angel is slang in the American South for a prostitute. So he was like freaked out by that and had all of the records pulled. And I think only like 1,000 copies exist of this song. But then he comes out with Devil Woman right after that. So I don't know if it kind of sounded like Devil Woman or what, but I thought that was interesting.
Wow. You know what? You jogged a memory, Brian, and you'll probably know this. I'm really confident that he was a host of Solid Gold at one point.
He might have been. Let me have a look.
I'm pretty sure that Cliff Richards at one point was a host on Solid Gold.
Well, he might have been because he
got that thing in the late 70s, early 80s where he started getting some traction.
Yes, and he did that duet with Olivia Newton-John suddenly.
Yeah.
Which was in Xanadu. It was on the Xanadu soundtrack.
Yeah, one of those like goofy, and Solid Gold is the only one coming to mind right now.
I bet you he was, and somewhere in this Wikipedia article I was kind of looking through, television specials. It just doesn't say general television appearances though. Television appearances. Let's have a look at this. So we're looking at like the early 80s. Probably for Solid Gold.
Yeah, when you were talking about him, I'm just like, wasn't he on Solid Gold?
Let's see here.
I mean, I've been wrong before, but for some reason, I'm just thinking
Christmas specials. It seems like something. Televised concerts.
I know Andy Gibb was for a little while.
Yes, Andy Gibb was for a very long time. I'm not saying that he was a host, but I'm kind of with you. I feel like he was probably on the show.
He was on something. It wasn't Don Kirshner. It wasn't Bert Sugarman.
Yeah, something.
Solid Gold is the one coming to mind. Maybe there was another version of that he helped host or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, just like on...
maybe he was on Top of the Pops, and that's where I'm confused.
But Midnight Special, I mean, would have hosts. Like it would be Jose Feliciano or Helen Reddy or whatever.
It was randomish.
But it wasn't like they were official hosts. They were just hosting episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
So that could have very well been. And I seem to
here this week is Aerosmith. And it's like, there's Aerosmith. We're playing live.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
I think Helen Reddy introduced Peter Frampton, if I remember correctly. And Jose Feliciano introduced the Cars or something like that. So it's just very, very odd,
A little odd. Yeah.
It's funny though. Looking back on it, it's great.
Well, they were on the Biz together. I played Helen Reddy, by the way, the other night, and I don't think I've ever played Helen Reddy.
What Helen Reddy song did you play?
Oh, God, the love song, John.
Angie. It was Angie. Angie Baby. The one about
Angie
Baby. Going into the radio. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a creepy ass song.
I was doing a chill set on Twitch, and John had been doing all these 70s. So I'm like, oh, I got to up my game. And out of nowhere, I just thought, I have never played Helen Reddy. I played an hour of just female singers.
That is the creepiest goddamn song.
But guess what I followed it with? You're going to love the next two songs. If you were playing Angie Baby and I said, pick two more songs, not BPM wise, just vibe wise, what two?
Legend of Willie's Swamp by Charlie Daniels Band.
Female singers. Female singers.
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Creepy. I don't know. Is there
Along
a theme song to Rosemary's Baby? That's a weird song.
No, not message wise. I went with Vicki Lawrence, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
I was going to go Ode to Billy Joel or something.
That was the second track.
There too. Yep.
So it was
jumped off a bridge.
into Vicki Lawrence, into Bobby Gentry. Yeah. And it was creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hour shortly
Yeah,
there.
yeah, you're still looking in the shadows behind you. You're like, wow.
That's just odd. That's more unsettling than DVD to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
Not quite.
Back to that.
If truth be known, not quite.
Yeah.
But it's up there.
I remember Cliff Richard remade a song from 1961, from Shep and the Limelight. It's called Daddy's Home.
Yep.
And that was in the 80s. But I think it was a live version that was released. Am I wrong on
I
that?
think you're right. And what used to happen sometimes, especially around 80, 81, they did it with Paul McCartney's Coming Up, where that was a number one song. And they released it to radio stations as the studio version, but the flip side was the live side.
Okay.
But most DJs and myself included kind of felt like the live version was better. So that's the one that got the airplay.
A little more energy, yeah.
I wonder if that's something similar to what happened, because I remember Cliff doing that song. Yeah.
Well, Peter Frampton. Has anyone ever really heard the original version?
No.
Do you feel like we do? Everyone only knows the live version.
I don't like his studio stuff.
But that's the thing.
The live stuff, yeah.
it didn't, when that came out, everyone went, oh, this is a new song. It's like, no, it's a song you already did. But, and Freebird, to a certain extent, got a lot more notoriety on the live album than on the first album, Pronounced. Even though they were known for it back in like 73, I think, the Pronounced came out and had Freebird on it. But yet the live version off and One for the Road became the hit that everyone's moving forward.
I don't think the studio version of Freebird is bad.
No, it's not.
But I would say something like the studio version of Cheap. The studio version of Cheap
the 14-minute version live.
The studio version of Cheap Tricks, I Want You to Want Me, I don't think is
Cheap
good.
Tricks, a good one.
No,
I don't think it's good at all. I think the Budokan version
but yet the
is
live
awful.
version.
Yeah. Right.
Now, is there a studio version of Turn the Page, Bob Seger? All I ever hear is a live version of that.
That's a good question.
Yes.
It has to be.
No, there is.
There is?
Oh, I've heard it. I've heard it.
Yeah, I've heard it. I never play it. I only play the live Silver Bullet one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The studio version isn't bad though.
But it's not as good.
No, it's not as
Like
fun.
if you play them back to back, the studio one's a little bit stuffy versus the live one that's got a little more vibe to it, a little more swing.
Right.
It's a slow song. It's still got that, like, the sax has a different vibe live than it did studio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple quick topics that I wanted to bring up before the show's over.
Already.
One, I talked about it last year a little bit, but I am now officially signed up with it for DJ mobile DJ liability insurance. In the past, I know Jay has gone through the same thing I've gone through, where you join a site like WeDJ, you're a paid advertiser, so you can participate in the discounted insurance program they offer.
That was just the standard.
For the $2 million liability thing or whatever.
Yeah, $1 million, $2 million aggregate.
Or alternately, you join an organization like American DJ Association or NAME or something, and there's group things with that. Well, my friend Dave Brown, Wavy Davey B, who's also a DJ, has been an insurance agent / broker since, I don't know if it's the early 90s or late 80s. He's been doing it for a long time. He's like 5th generation insurance broker in his family. And he turned me on to a company called Next. And I joined today, $195 for a year or $16 a month for a $2 million liability policy. You don't have to be a member of any organization.
But $1 million base, right? Not a $2 million and then $3 million.
I'd have to look at the policy, Jay. I
only asked because I looked at Next and mine was through Maven. Maven is now switched, or this lady, Sherry DeGarmo.
Yes.
Sherry has now moved. So did you deal with Sherry?
I dealt with online. I've dealt with Sherry before.
Right. And Sherry was with Maven forever. And then I went to renew my insurance recently and the email came back not found. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I come to find out, because I have to renew it now, Sherry has moved to a new company. And I just, when you brought that up, I looked it up. They're not the company Next. I'm 99% sure I met the guy from Next at wedding MBA a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Because I walked by and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Good. What do you do?" "I'm a DJ." "You got insurance?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Through Maven or Nico?" I'm like, "Maven." Yeah, I used to work with them. I've started this company and I'm solely doing this.
Yeah.
Because as you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, I did a school event last year.
Right.
And
they wanted like a
$3 million.
Right.
Which through Maven was a $1,500 policy. And I ended up getting a one-off that let me pay $207 for one day, and the client picked it up. But I'm pretty, and that's why I kind of asked about the $1 million, $2 million. My insurance is $1 million liability with $2 million aggregate.
That's usually what it is.
I'm not a lawyer, so I'm to understand $2 million aggregate is either the max out of the policy or the overall hit for the policy.
The way it was worded with Maven, if I remember correctly, and I'm not an insurance guy either, but if I remember the way it was worded was $1 million per incident and a maximum of 2 incidents per year. That's how I
Would
heard
be
it.
the aggregate. Yeah, the max out of the policy.
For those of us who don't have the vocabulary that Jay has. That's
I
we
just
didn't go to private school.
Well, I met an insurance lady and she goes, "Oh, do you carry insurance?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she, "What do you pay?" And I told her, which is more than you're quoting, Brian, but not considerably. It's like $50 more than you're saying. And she goes, "Oh, I can't come near that." She goes, "For me to give you that policy would be about $800 a year." I'm like, "Really?" Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if my new insurance needs me to be a member of that We DJ or not.
Yeah, this does not require you to do anything. You just go on and log on. I mean, We DJ has done boo fu for me.
Oh,
over 50.
every time, just like every site you pay for, right around the time that your membership is due, you suddenly get barraged with emails for imaginary clients. Like, "I found you on We DJ. You're kidding, but you can't see me because you're only a bronze member. If you were a gold member, you would have booked this event and retired by now." It's like, really?
Well, I got to deal with them no more because I'm with Next. And I did a video about this today, and several people chimed in the comment section and said, "Yeah, I've been with Next for a long time. They're legit. They're good."
Yeah,
that's good to hear because I didn't know. That. If it's the guy I'm thinking of, it was only a few years ago. It seemed like he had started, so it's good to hear they've got a track record.
Well, the reason that I was excited about going with Next, opposed to chasing any other avenues for this, is because Wavy looked at the policy, and if I know anybody who understands insurance, it's Dave Brown. He does. So my friend, who's a DJ and also an insurance broker, is using this company, and that speaks volumes to me.
That speaks huge volumes.
So anyway, it's Next Insurance.
Okay.
And my favorite part of your video is you said you didn't have to talk to a person. You did it all online. Boom.
Oh, it was easy. Yeah, it was all online. They just asked the questions, and it was a website that looks like it was designed this decade. It wasn't like going to freaking whatever Rock Auto or something. The damn thing was designed in the 80s. It was, like it was a real nice looking website.
MS DOS to run Rock Auto.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously. Everything's way over on the left. Click, 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 click.
Right. You get your reading glasses on to see what's going on.
Or you fill out a contact form and you're getting calls the rest of the week from every company ever. So
there's even
it's convenient like that.
They even offer an app where you can actually add insurers or whatever. Like, so if you're playing at a specific venue and they need their name on the policy.
Oh, the certificates. Yeah.
The certificates.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought it was cool. It's easy. And my guy, who's an insurance guy, not only is saying that it's legit, but he's also been using it for a year now. And he likes it. And he's come over from another company, probably the WDJ company.
No, I have to ask you, Brian, is this solely based for liability? You didn't add equipment into this for the 190, right?
No, but I think you can. I think
but it obviously with all insurers, if you start adding like my computer, my gear, the pricing will go up. So
right, this is liability. This is what you need to go play it.
It's base liability that will get you into every venue that says, "Do you have liability insurance?"
Yes. Oh, actually they ask for COI, certificate of insurance.
Certificate of insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have COI? It's like, yep, here you go.
Yeah.
And if they'll issue it right away, that's even better, because that's one of the benefits of the old insurance. Was I don't want to name a venue, and they would send me a form saying, we're now adding you as additionally insured. Then I could forward that to the wedding coordinator or venue, and they'd be done.
Yeah, this was really cool, because when I was going through this, okay, we're sending you an email to confirm. So I looked at the email, and the email's like, okay, here's the confirmation number. You got 3 minutes to add it. I'm like, okay, they're in a hurry. I like that. That means I'm going to get my COI quick. So I did it. And then a couple steps later, they said, okay, we're texting you a confirmation number. You've got, 5 minutes to put it in. Put it in. Okay, you're done. Download your PDF and send it to whoever you got to send it to.
Nice.
It was simple, real simple stuff.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
I'm just, there's nothing in it for me or Wavy Davy. I just want to make that perfectly clear. This is, I don't know what these people look like. I don't know what they smell like, but I know that they're giving certificates of insurance for, it's under $16 a month, actually. I don't know what kind of service charges on there, or whatever, or $190 a year. For
part of being a professional. I mean, this says I'm a professional. I carry insurance.
It's the price of doing business, especially with a lot of these higher end homes, that they want it.
It's more legit that you're doing it yourself and Davy's doing it, and not a guy that gets on YouTube and goes, check out this new CD player from a company, and then a week later you see him at a gig, and that's not what they're using.
Yeah. Well, I mean, use what you want, but I know, Jay, last time you and I talked, you were doing the WDJ thing, and I've been doing it for probably 15 or 16 years, because insurance became that dividing thing about, you meet with a client and say, I've worked your venue. It's a great venue. If you don't hire me, that's fine. I totally understand, but just make sure your DJs have insurance. And there are a lot of guys out there that it's cost prohibitive to get a day of, because a day of policy is north of $150. That I know for a fact, because I've had guys call me and go, hey man, if I give you $50, can you add me on your policy? I can. And here's my social security number and my mother's maiden name, date of birth. And do you want my license number? I don't know if you need that with the credit card. Do you need the 3-digit code on the back of my main credit card, or? Well,
keys to the house.
I just wanted to mention this. I didn't want to talk about insurance for too long, because it's really boring, especially we just talked about rock and roll. Now we're talking about insurance,
and we're not
there for you. And I don't know, use it or don't, but it's I thought it was a good value. Wavy vouches for it, and I trust him. So,
well, can I mention a product that I think is a great value that I only found about yesterday, and I think I told you last night, that goes along with this? JC, who
the app thing,
I was saying to him, my Shazam, and I'm sure everyone here uses Shazam. Those of you on Android, I'm sorry that you got 2 cans with a string, but I'm sure they have an app that you can get music as well.
We have Shazam too.
And I said, I got 4,500 songs. I really got to take some time and sit down, go through my songs and say, I should buy this or I should buy that. And JC from Mexico City, our buddy, said, do you use Tune My Music? And I'm like, no. There's $4 a month or a free plan. And what you can do is you can move your Shazam list into Tune My Music, and they'll move it into Spotify, Tidal, along with like 10 other services that are streaming, and those songs will now appear. So if you're always using Tidal like me, I could now have these 4,500 songs in a playlist in Tidal. And I think for $5 a month, to me personally, that's a great value. I've already signed up.
Hell yeah.
Because it's I can get all these songs moved from my phone into a program that when I open Serato DJ, and I believe Tidal works with virtual, because JC uses virtual, those songs are now there. And I can't stress this enough. If you're going to a music event that you're not familiar with, you're going to a house party, a rock party, a country party, take out your phone, open Shazam, stick your finger on the logo in the middle of the screen and hold it for about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, and it goes into what's called auto Shazam mode. Put your phone back in your pocket, and then the next day, look at your phone, And there might be 20 or 30 songs that are now in Shazam that you can go listen to and say, oh, I remember that song. That was awesome. Plus, it gives the date and the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great way for those of us going to other venues where we may not know that style of music that well. And now to know for $5 a month, I can transfer it into my actual repertoire. This seems like a great thing. And again, it's called tunemymusic.com.
Wow.
So,
Quite the time saver. Yeah.
Blown away. And I'm sure there's 1,000 of these out there that I don't know about, but it was great of JC to throw that out to me. So big shout out to JC down in Mexico City. We saw him in Atlantic City.
Yes.
He's not allowed to be anywhere that doesn't have the term city in it, which is really sad. Like, I asked him to come visit me. I live in Temecula. I don't live in Temecula City. And he's
right. You got to live in Temecula
my
City.
visa, I'm not allowed to go there.
You got to go visit him in Panama City or Ho Chi Minh City or Paradise City.
Yeah, no, he can go to those places.
Yeah.
Atlantic City. Yeah, I said, what about Vegas? Nope, doesn't have the word city in it, Jay.
No.
The rules of Central and South America sometimes throw me, but
little different.
I accept them and I move forward.
So the last thing I wanted to talk about was something that happened that was kind of humorous, and I got to kind of go back a little bit. I don't know this to be true.
The wedding coordinator.
Yeah. So here's what happened. I had 3 wedding clients all hit me on the same day that they wanted to plan. And the first one in line was actually the first wedding coming up, which is the 16th of September. So I'm like, okay, well, they should go first. Let's get them knocked out, and then we'll do the 23rd. And then I got one for the beginning of October that I got to do. So I've been working with them for damn near a week. And it was really confusing because they had an in-house wedding coordinator, their own wedding coordinator, a videographer, a sound tech, a light tech, catering, and all of these people needed questions answered. I'll leave it at that. There's this event hall, and this event itself is a little different than most of the events that I do. So I'm talking to them on the phone, and they're telling me all these things. And I said, you know what? I really need to talk to your vendors because there seems like a lot of things going on here. So if you could get me their numbers and their contact information, I will start reaching out to them Monday. That was like on Thursday last week. I said, I don't want to bother anybody on the weekend, but on Monday, first thing Monday morning, I will start reaching out to everyone and we'll try to get all the stuff sorted out, all these questions answered. And they said, cool. So I reached out to their in-house coordinator. I reached out to their day of personal coordinator. I reached out to the video guy. I reached out to, oh, by the way, the hall also, when I reached out to the in-house coordinator, that's also reaching out to the AV tech because they're there too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I reached out to everybody. I got a message back from their personal coordinator saying, hey, can we have a conference call tomorrow at 6? I said, yeah, cool. That sounds great. She arranged it. And I kind of forgot about it. You know, hey, let's get on with my night. About 7:15 last night, I get a message. Just so you know, don't worry about 6 o'clock tomorrow. We are no longer working with our coordinator. Okay. Here's what I'm afraid happened. Here's what I'm really afraid. I don't feel good about this. I'm smiling almost out of embarrassment. I think that day they're looking at each other saying, how come our DJ is coordinating with everybody and the person who we're paying with coordinator and their title is coordinating with anyone? You know what? We don't need her anymore.
Right.
I don't know that to count on Brian to do everything.
I'm only speculating.
Makes sense.
Brian, the axe red.
Well, there was quite a redundancy in people here anyway.
Just a little bit. 4 people? Geez, that's...
Brian helping DJs and firing coordinators. Next up, photographer. Brian has a Galaxy phone.
And as DJs, we have to know we have to know so much about the timelines anyway that it makes sense. It would really make sense for us to sync up with these coordinators way sooner than we do, or just sort of be that at least when it comes to the timeline.
Oddly enough,
don't
Matt,
you guys normally do that? Like when you
Matt, I'll tell you because I'm going to
Not initially.
because I will tell you that it has been over 10 years since a wedding coordinator has reached out to me. The only time I talk to a coordinator is either if I ask for their information. Hey, do you have a coordinator? Yes. Could I please have their information? And I reach out to them. Or I get my favorite surprise wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
You show up at the venue, you've made the timeline, you're ready to go, and this middle-aged woman is standing over there with a clipboard. Well, who are you?
running the show?
Well, I'm the wedding coordinator. Well, who the hell did you coordinate with? Because it certainly wasn't me.
Right.
Yes. Amen.
We have a lot of month of, week of, day of. That's the packages.
Yeah.
And the month ofs, they're the real pros that will call me early on. They'll actually suggest vendors.
Yeah.
Which I love because they'll say, here are the DJs I've worked with that I really like. And they're selling you because they know you're going to make them look good. Then you get a week of where you get that Sunday before the wedding. Hi, I'm Sally and I'm doing this wedding next week. I wanted to send you the timeline. Great. And I always say, I'll send you my timeline because I've already met with the clients. They didn't make me aware that they had a coordinator. It's probably pretty similar. And they're 99% of the time, they're all matched up. But the day ofs, and this has happened probably 10 times. I'm so excited. This is my second wedding. I'm so excited. This is my third wedding. And they genuinely don't know what to do. And I will say to them, I've been doing this a very long time. I've got this down pat. I notice you're already drinking a glass of wine. I have nothing to drink before or during. If you want to hand this off, are you a friend of the bride group? Yeah, I'm a friend of the brides and I just started my company. If you want to either watch me or run the show, but if you run the show, I will throw you under the bus if it screws up because they know I have a timeline. They know I know what I'm doing. They've seen me do their sister's wedding, their cousin's wedding, whatever. I said, I'd be happy to work a little bit with you, but I have a job and my name is on the contract. So I don't want to be that guy with you, but I'm going to be that guy.
It's interesting you say that because I was looking through.
Sorry.
I was looking through all of the documents that I was being sent, and there were several. I don't know who wrote what, but most of the documents had something interesting in them. They want to do a first dance reveal, which is another story.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that was a 20-minute story that still makes no sense.
Well, I get it now, and I'll explain it to you after the show if you'd like.
Oh, please do.
I totally get it now.
That should be good.
Now that I've talked to the venue, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
I bet it's the curtain.
They do this first dance thing, and then immediately after that, this is what they had written down. They're going to leave the dance floor and join the wedding party somewhere off where the wedding party is being organized. And then the wedding party is going to be brought in and they're going to cut a cake and sit down. They allocated 5 minutes.
Oh, good luck with that.
That is for me to put together a 20-person wedding party in order.
No.
Play a song that's 5 minutes long and have them cut a cake and sit down.
And on another floor.
Yeah.
Not even on the same
By the
level.
way, in 27 years, 27, I know my weddings are different, but in 27 years of doing weddings, you know what I've never, ever, 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 ever seen before in my life? A first dance followed by a grand entrance. Not once, never, ever. If you came to me,
I haven't either.
I would shoot
either.
in flames. Don Scott would have to come join me.
I have not either.
Hot Down in Flames from Highway to Hell, side 2, third track, because it's not happening.
Well, I don't say not happening because I do custom events. That's my thing. I mean,
I'm just saying. I'm
don't-
fine with let's make them happy, give them
So
the
out
day
of
they
order.
want, until it makes no sense.
all I can do is and I tell them, everybody right off the bat, because we really want your expertise and we want your suggestions. And I'll tell them, okay, I'll give you some suggestions, but I will tell you this: I'm not the boss here. You're the boss. I'm the coach.
Right.
You're the
100%.
athlete. So I'm going to suggest
The
things
athlete
that I
wants to
feel
run
like
the other direction, Brian. At times you have to say, sweetheart, wrong way. Got to run this way around the
dude,
racetrack.
you
not
can
that
only
way.
go. So I had suggested to this client, hey, let's not do that.
All I can do.
How about this?
One
Do your
second.
first dance, cut your cake, sit down, and then let's have a wedding party dance to open the dance floor. Let's bring everybody
After
in and have a nice
dances?
dance, and then follow that with the father-daughter, the mother-son, and then get on with the party.
Do it the
Anyone-
other way, though. You should have
didn't-
father, daughter, mother, son first, then have the wedding party. Or do what I've done, Brian.
Whatever. Just
I'll sit
instead
down.
of just doing
By the way, I want to mention the wedding party. If they'd please stand as I announce them. Groomsman Tom with
Yeah.
bridesmaid Cheryl, and they both stand.
they want it done. They want it done how they want it done.
Well, they're idiots, Brian, and this marriage should last about 2 years. Is this Racine? Tell me the truth. Is this Illinois? It sounds like Illinois.
It's Illinois. Yeah.
Well, they'll probably get shot at the wedding. I'm not worried.
It's all that dope smoking down there. Bro.
Well, I'm thinking it's all that inbreeding is what it sounds like. If they're
Oh
going
my
to reverse
God, it's
the
Illinois.
first dance and that, come on. What's that?
And
I've just been informed I'm no longer allowed in Chicago. Jesus.
and on that note,
A city and a state.
we'll go
One
ahead and end the show.
We're going to end it.
Road Dog.
Road dog.
There we go.
We'll see you guys next